Alright, and as we get underway, would you like to kick things off for us here, once again?
Certainly, spawning in the top right of GSL Entombed Valley, we have as the red Terran from Fusion Slugs, Eagle.
Alright,
And
fantastic.
in the bottom left, spawning as the blue Terran. Uh-oh, I have a feeling Blood's gonna say something about me. Spawning as the blue Terran, we have from QED, Blood Mist. There's a bit of context behind dying in a chopper. We've been playing a lot of DayZ lately in Clan QED, perhaps not sticking to our practice regimen as closely as we perhaps should. And today we managed to find a helicopter spawned in the middle of nowhere. Actually, it was just flying over the top of Cherno when we shot it down and jacked it off some hackers that ended up leaving the server, and we managed to fix it up and went for a bit of a joyride, and then 5 minutes later the game crashed and the controls locked up, and we ended up rolling it over and and crashing it headfirst into the middle of the open field. So that
Sounds like a great way to go.
So that was, yeah, it was excellent, really. I'm not mad at all, or at least that's what I keep telling myself. So, back to the game. We're on GSL Entombed Valley, so Bloodmist did actually choose this map for this game, and he usually favours playing on Shakura's Plateau, as we have seen in many of his past games. He does quite like that map for TVT, but I think he has kind of fallen out of favour with it just recently because of the drop potential that it really plays into. So spawning here cross map on GSL Entombed Valley is going to be much more comfortable for Bloodmist to play a really safe 3-base kind of macro game and really just play solid and standard the way that he really likes to, playing really positional with tanks and you know, hopefully being able to take a win off of Fusion Slugs as Eagle, who was playing very well last game, managing to, you know, even win despite you know, his minimal production of tanks, and really kind of using tanks as a kind of complement to his biocentric style, which I thought was really interesting and a really cool way to play this matchup. So we'll see how they both fare against each other. Both company going for this 1-Rax fast expand, and Bloodmist actually did choose to wall off quite early with this extra supply depot before the command center, just to deny any information from Eagle's scouting SCV, and despite not having a wall off here from Eagle, he did manage to deny scouting well enough with the second Marine that popped out of that barracks. So we are going to see the early gas coming from Eagle again, and only one gas coming down from Bloodmist before his extra racks.
Yeah, definitely. So it's going to be interesting now that we're actually seeing kind of a... it's not at the stage yet where it'd be a major deviation as Eagle throws down his third barracks, but it's kind of already gearing up for that kind of a situation as the tech lab now begins on one of Eagle's barracks as well, at the same time as Bloodmist's. And Bloodmist, 2 barracks just finishing up about now, and his orbital command morphing now to his natural as well.
Yeah, so Bloodmist might be looking to get combat shield first here. He's not quite got enough gas for anything off of that tech lab just yet, but he will in just a few moments. We'll see what he does decide to put down, and it is going to be combat shield. And nothing out of the tech lab yet from Eagle either. He is going to be just waiting for enough gas, and he is going to be throwing down combat shield at exactly the same time. So Eagle will be able to get the add-ons down just a bit quicker as a result of having that second gas a bit earlier, but as we said before, the extra mineral income is going to be a bit more economy focused for Bloodmist here, as he's just now finishing that second refinery up on his main. No refineries yet on the natural from either player, but the first bunker does go down from Bloodmist, so he's signalling that he is going to be playing quite safe here, despite I think he actually has the higher Marine count at this point. So really looking to play solid, standard, safe, and that's what we're going to be seeing from him.
Yeah, I'm trying to actually figure out how like in the small things, Blood Mist is so ahead at this point. He's been able to get his factory down, he's been able to get the tech faster, and he's still ended up with more SEVs and Marines, so I think that's just a macro kind of a thing. Him always hitting, I guess, the SCV build times and all that kind of jazz, and it's starting to pay off now as we open up the units tab and we see that he's ahead on SCVs and Marines, and he'll also be ahead in tech with his factory just finishing up now and Stim starting as well.
Yeah, he is. I think here the important point here is just that I think Blood Mist's build is just a bit more refined, and he's practiced it just a bit more than Eagle perhaps has, and it really comes down to the fact that he can just knock this build out, 99 times out of 100 perfectly, without even having to think about it, and that's the real advantage that practicing build orders in things like save and load tool and yet another build order tester and even then just taking them on ladder. It's less about taking it on ladder than it is just practicing it relentlessly, controlled environment. I think that's Blood's strength here, that he does have just a bit more refined of a build order, but we are going to see just more racks coming down from Blood Mist. He is going to be playing very, very biocentric here, and still no more barracks from Eagle. He's going to be bearing down the tank on the factory, so tank's going to be out much sooner for Eagle than for Blood Mist, but he is going to sacrifice a bit of bio and marine count as a result of that. So I am a bit worried that Blood's not going to have enough tankiness in his army to deal with the splash damage from the siege tanks. So I'd like to see him step up the Marauder production a bit more, maybe just to give him that much more survivability to survive the tank lines. But it is going to be 2 more reactors coming down.
Yeah, so contradicting
very
there.
Marine heavy. Yeah, very Marine heavy, but he's going to probably go into tank production just now. It's not going to matter too much really, because they are, opposite ends of the map. But Blood Mist is actually starting to now float a bit of money as he's pushing out. So probably looking to secure a third base behind this push. That will end up hitting with Stim and not +1 actually. He is going to hit with Stim and Medevacs and Combat Shield though. So we'll see how this works out for him.
Yeah, being able to get that bit early on.
Eagle, I'm not sure that he should be engaging yet. And yeah, really losing out on that engagement just solely because of the Medevacs there. Those went out quite in time, and Blood Mist doing quite a bit of damage to the army of Eagle, although the losses were quite minimal, managing to sting back out of that fight just in time.
Yeah, and Blood Mist has been able to catch up in the supply count now as well. He was a fair way behind, but that engagement forced the numbers in his favour, which is always something nice to have happen there, because unfortunately he did lose a couple of Marines early on when Eagle pushed to take control of the tower. So it's nice that he's been able to kind of level things there. And now that he will have that kind of superior medevac count for a small amount of time, he's going to be in a bit of a commanding position just to take this in time to kind of like the mid-game stages.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to secure his third base just a bit quicker than Eagle will be. No third command center on the way, I don't believe. No, there isn't. So yeah, his third is going to be quite significantly delayed compared to Blood Mist. We'll have to see if he turns this into an orbital or a planetary fortress for the extra defense, but he is loading up a drop now. Not actually a completely full drop, but it is going to be timed very nicely as Eagle is just starting to push out with his entire force of Marine and tank, as the third command center just now does go down. So he can time this out just right. He is going to land a perfect timing with this drop and potentially do a fatal amount of damage here.
Yeah, Blood taking quite a nice siege up here, and it looks like Eagle's going to go for a counter drop as well, so we'll have to keep eyes on both of those. But Blood actually getting quite a nice position with his sieger.
Yeah, and drop now in the natural mineral line of Eagle, but it's going to get cleaned up with relative ease there. He pulled SCVs when he had to, and there were Marines there waiting. But yeah, the siege up from Blood Mist on this watchtower is actually really excellent, because it means he doesn't have to burn any scans at all. Oh, well, get a bit of saying this position right here on the watchtower is going to mean that he doesn't have to burn any scans, trying to see where his opponent's army is to get his siege tanks in range. But this third is really, really undefended, and if Eagle can land just here and stim up and maybe even take out this command center, he's going to get out a few SCVs, and he actually does manage to kill a mule as well, so that's quite a significant amount of damage, and he might, if he stims up, even take this command center out. There's not very many Marines here to deal with this, and just managing to lift up before losing any Marines, so quite an effective drop there from Eagle, and now he's going to drop into the main middle line, where there is nothing here, but Bloodmist is going to drop his own Marines back into the base, although the unload from Eagle was just a bit quicker, so more SCV kills going to be coming here, and Bloodmist not really dealing with this as well as he could have been. 16 SCV kills now for Eagle, and he's going to lose the medevac and Marines, but he did a hell of a lot of damage with that, and more than I think he probably should have. Now, a lot of lost mining time here for Bloodmist. He's going to transfer those SVEBs from the main all the way down to the third. So, interesting choice from him, but it looks like he might be able to just stabilize after this. He's going to repair up the orbital so that he doesn't fall susceptible to losing the command center from another drop. But his third timing is still ahead of, actually way ahead of Eagle's, but that did level the scores just a bit, as we do have these two huge balls of Terran sitting in the middle here facing off, and Bloodmist is going to go for another drop here.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he should be taking that drop in the way of the third base, even after he just scanned then and saw all those missile turrets go up, so he might need to rethink his approach to that. That
is a hell of a lot of missile turrets there. Really concerned about securing that third base. Okay, so loses the medevac and 4 Marines inside it. So.
Oh, but Eagle just lost all his stuff in the middle of the map. Completely missed that, but that's going to be GG.
I missed that. Good casting. Oh, man.
Oh no, there we go.
He does seem to be back. Hang on, I'll tell him to get out of bed.
Alright. And if I swap in, damn, it always happens like that.
I told him.
Nice. Alright, there we go.
Okay, so...
Have I spelt this right? Battle Toast? I know my English, alright. So I might have a crack at the introductions because I've got the overlays right for once. So in the upper right-hand corner of the map, we've got the blue Terran 4 QED able to take the series to 2-1. As you can see up there on the nice scoreboard, we've got QED's Bloodmist. And in the bottom left, the red Protoss who's come out to try and end Bloodmist's reign in this clan war. We've got Fusion Slug's Battle Toast.
Yeah, we are going to be playing on some version of Cloud Kingdom. It might be... Is it GSL Cloud Kingdom? No, it's WCS Cloud Kingdom, I believe. So this map is going to be an interesting map for PvT, actually. I don't think Bloodmist's going to quite be his favourite map for PvT, but I do know that he is quite favouring the matchup at the moment, so he is going to be, you know, hard-pressed to take out a diamond-level player, as Battle Toast is now, just getting that promotion not long ago. So it's going to be an interesting matchup to see what happens. It does look like we are going to be having a 1-gate expo from Battle Toast and a 1-Rax FE probably from Bloodmist, assuming he doesn't throw some sort of spanner in the works. But I am gonna assume that both players will be playing quite safe and standard, and just showing us their best macro play for this friendly clan tournament.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, just with the positioning of that barracks, as you've taught me now, if the barracks is not at the wall, he's probably going to 1-Rax FE. Either that or do something like super weird, like, I don't know, like something weird proxied. And as you've also taught me as well, if that gateway is not a ramp, it's probably going to be a 1-gate FE as well. So improving my knowledge of the game week by week. And there we go, the Marine forcing that probe out of the way as the command center starts its build.
And actually, just on that point, um, in this matchup, it's generally, you don't want to be putting buildings to wall off. It's generally only that you ever want to be walling off against Zerg, really, or in TVT to deny scouting information. But other than that, all that a wall off really does is it just limits your movement between your own bases, and it really makes it difficult to deal with drops, Protoss. If you have to walk your whole army, despite the warp in mechanic, if you have to walk your entire army around the side of a 1 unit space gateway, it can get quite tedious to deal with those drops, and similarly it can be really hard to rally out enough units, rather, as Terran to deal with an attack that's bearing down on your front if every single Marine has to walk past 1 unit space, crack in your wall once the supply depot is lowered. So both of these players are wise not to be walling off here, and even in one base play, you often see buildings sniped by sniped off by bio or a force that just comes up to the front and gonna perhaps hinder the production by sniping off one of those buildings. But we do actually not see a 1-gate fast expand coming from Battletoast, and he's not making any effort to hide it either. Going to be a fast council and robo, so it's going to be a
blink maybe, or
a blink all in. It would appear. So let's see how Bloodmist deals with this. I know he's had some issues with dealing with it in the past, but maybe his new improved PVT will scare away the blink all in. But blink obs is going to be always a hard build to deal with. But as we were just saying, not having that wall off at the front is going to really help the mobility of Bloodmist's army to deal with the blink stalkers. And hopefully, if Bloodmist plays it right, and he does manage to hold it off, he'll be in an absolutely excellent position to deal with this 4-gate blink obs build, which is a really interesting all-in variation on a blink obs build. So I'm interested to see how this goes.
Yeah, now do you reckon Battletoast will follow, say this doesn't work, do you reckon he'll be using this robotics facility just to pump out Immortals again and again, or do you reckon he might even throw a Warp Prism into the mix because he will have that blink mechanic, or maybe even just switch to Fast Colossus, assuming once again that this doesn't work out for him?
Yeah, I think the most logical transition here is into Colossus, but I think maybe a nice way to do this build might have just been to skip the Observer and go straight for a Warp Prism, skipping the Proxy Pylons too, and just using the Warp Prism for warping in and vision might be a kind of a cute way to do it. But he is going to be going for the Obs and the Proxy Pylons, so Blood not yet reacting. He's got these Blink Stalkers up in his main, and he really is not doing a hell of a lot about it, but he is going to be coming down here to kill off the Proxy Pylon and actually trapping the Stalkers inside and really kill off the Obs. And yes, beautiful play, does manage to kill off the Obs, so now these Stalkers trapped inside, but they are going to be able to do damage if he does decide to micro them. Not actually doing anything with the Stalkers at the moment, so there's a lot of lost damage here. For Battletoast with these Stalkers, he should have been looking to pick off add-ons, pick off SCVs, pick off whatever he could, but Bloodmist smartly pulling SCVs off the line. With these Marines now, it's going to be a very difficult job for Battletoast to pull this off, and I think Bloodmist is going to be in quite a comfortable position after this. But some great blink micro from Battletoast does manage to keep all of those alive, but still no Nexus from him. Probes have been cut. This is very, very, very all in. So Bloodmist is going to be chucking a bunker up, a couple of hexes back from the wall here, or from the edge of the cliff rather. As this second Observer does come in, it's not going to quite be finished in time, it doesn't look like, and the Marines are going to be a long way out of position. He does now know that the Observer is back there, so he's going to have to empty this bunker at the front, and the Stalkers, again, not really doing as much damage as they should be. Picking off one refinery, one SCV, and that's really all before the Marines get there. So SCVs yet again coming off the line, but these Stalkers are doing very well against the SCVs and Marines. Not managing to lose too many Stalkers at all, but it is eventually going to get cleaned up, I feel, and as every Stalker that Battletoast loses here, this attack does get weaker, and this all-in does lose some of its force. So I think Bloodmist could just be fine here. I'm not too sure. but
Yeah.
the bunkers at the front are empty, and they are going to be taken out quite easily. I'm not sure whether those were mana mules or something else maybe, but this Fire Force is now going to be much better at taking out these Stalkers with Stim now finished, but still no Medivacs, but there is one coming, so if Battle Post can manage to pick off this command center, he'll be in a great position, but SCV's coming off the line with Marines. Doesn't look like he's quite going to be able to get it, so still producing these Stalkers, still making proxy pylons, still trying to make this all-in work, but with the Medivacs now coming out, he will be able to use Stim, and that's going to be a big deciding factor in whether this all-in works or not. He's lost a lot of SCVs though. 48 SCVs killed.
Oh, Jesus.
My goodness.
Oh, he's got
That's
5 left.
A lot of units killed.
I think, I think this is GG.
Wow. Okay. So I that's really weird. I don't quite know how that ended up working, but a really strong all-in from Battle Toast is actually going to take this game. So I mean, good on him. That's really interesting. I never would have picked that to happen. So yeah, I guess Blood Mist's going to be going out in this game. Yeah, still a full line of probes back at home for Battle Toast, so it's just going to be a matter of time now before Blood Mist does decide to call it quits, I reckon. So Stim Marine's going to be coming in here just as a last hurrah, and that looks like it's going to be it for Blood Mist in this game and in this series.
Yeah, no, that's a very unfortunate twist. I thought he was actually holding that quite well, but yeah, just way too many SCVs died. That was quite a surprising thing. I should have been watching the supply bit closer, because I thought, yeah, he was holding that easily.